Thank you. I always love to speak about WordPress at PHP conferences. As Michelle said, you don't talk with the WordPress developers enough, so here I am. I also heard that you have problems with new developers. We have the same problem, so maybe we can get together and talk about it, how to solve it. Anyway, today I want to talk about those very rare but oh so magic moments when we do things in production. Now, there are best practices, feature branches, code reviews, continuous integration, all the tools and human forces to make sure that you never, ever come close to production. However, there are situations when you have to go there and do stuff, and they're usually connected to data because production is usually the only website in the workflow that has complete data. And maybe you have to, run that external API call just once to populate the data, and then the cron job will take over. Or maybe your client asked you to move a lot of posts from one category to another because SEO agency recommended that. So there are, when you think about it, a lot of situations when you have to go to production and do stuff. And when I go to production, I love to use WP-CLI. So for those of you who don't know, WP-CLI is a command line interface for WordPress. And with that, you can do everything that you can do in WordPress dashboard, almost everything that you can do with code, you can just do with WP-CLI. And with WP-CLI, you can do much more scary things because it's SSH. And basically, you get to work on WordPress, but from terminal, and if that's not fun, I don't know what is. So let me take you to this magic land I have. I will not use actual production today, but from terminal, they'll look like, so it doesn't matter. I have here one freshly installed WordPress. We're not going to go there. We're actually not going to look at WordPress at all now. This is how it looks like. It's default WordPress at this moment. And that's not really important. What I did change here, this is default install. What I changed here, I added a couple of users. So this is too big. Okay. And we have admin, which is default. Then we have author, and then we have magic user, and then we have Milana, which is me. I'm just subscribed. This is equivalent to a PHP function that is in core WordPress, that is get users. So basically, everywhere you see the list subcommand, it's some kind of query. It's a loop through some kind of object. So let me go to a new tab. And there are several ways you can execute PHP from WP-CLI. The most simple way is to use eval command. So here I would say, because get users return array, I will say print r and then get users. And now you see here I have a list of users, and it's actually quite big and larger than what we get in WP-CLI. So I have users object, which have objects and arrays and whatever. And here, when I did this, I got only these few things. And this is because WP-CLI doesn't return the whole object. It returns only things that you might need. And you can filter that. So we're going to take a look. Actually, I want to show you that you can have everything in terminal, even happiness. So I'm going to go to this link. And here you can see all the arguments for get users, but also for WP-CLI command. And what we are looking for is this fields. So those fields are what is returned from here. Let me go back. So if I want to just use few of these, not everything. I want to use ID, I want to use user login. By the way, those are the exact column names in database. So you can see them right away and you can use them. Those are the exact parameters that you use in PHP functions. So there is consistency here. I want to use login and display name, email, and that's it. I don't need the other things. So I can do fields equals ID and user login, display name, and user email. And I get a nice list here. So let's now talk about that thing that I want to do. Maybe my client told me I want to get a list from all the users that are actual staff on this website. So only those people who have magic.lock in their email, right? It's a thing that, you know, it's not even a task. You don't care about it in your code base. It's like, give me a list. They don't care how you're going to do it. And you have to think of the thing, how to do that. So for you, it's another query that you don't want to write code and code review and go through all pipelines. So you want to do it just in production and get it done. Maybe you will save it because maybe they will ask again, you will save how you do it, but you don't want that in your code anywhere, and you are not going to run it anywhere except in production. So now we can search through things, and again, this is where you go to find how you do that, and here is the search. That is the easiest way to do. Now, what I love, before we go there, what I love about WP-CLI is generally CLI tools. They work together. The WP-CLI doesn't know about other tools and doesn't need to know. They just work together. So if I do this, like this, and just say, okay, send this to users CSV, I have them exported. It's easy as that. And I can create with filtering any kind of query about anything and just export it with one command. I don't need any plugin. I don't know if you have ever used WordPress or tried to export something that is not everything from WordPress. It's such a pain and it's not worth it. This is amazing. So this is what I want to do. I want to export all these staff users with magic.lock in their email and just give them the list. So let's start searching. If I search, now if we go back to documentation, search, accept string, and that's fine. Search equals, let's say magic.lock. And it returns nothing. So what I need is a while here because it goes literal. Okay, so I have these two. And this might work, but what if I say, let me show you the users again. WP user list. No, I want that better list. Okay, so we have admin that has magic.lock. We have author that has magic.lock. We have this magic, whatever. And we have Milana user. So Milana is developer, and Milana has tested something on the user page, and she set user update the IDs for, I could use just Milana or, email address or whatever. And she set user URL because she wanted to see that Magic, okay, magic.log. She wanted to see that link on user profile for whatever reason. She wanted to test it. And now if we run that query, we get this. So it's not reliable to just search. You need to search in exact column. So in PHP, let's go back here. It would be too much to write it like this. So I'm going to show you another way to execute PHP code in WP-CLI. It's WP shell. So now you have PHP shell open and you can say get users and now array, and I want fields to be, this is array as well. ID. Sorry that you have to look this now, but this is live coding. User login. What was there? Display name and email. User email. Thank you so much. You saved my time. And the second parameter, we said search. And there was a wildcard, magic.log. And now we want to search specifically in this column that is user email, right? So, right. So here, search columns. Is it columns? I think so. And the column, search columns accept string, actually array of names of columns to be searched through. So it's going to be array and user email. Now this was a lot of typing, and that's why you don't do PHP in terminal. And here we have those two users, admin that has email magic.log and outer. If we do it with WP-CLI, so the logic would say just here, search columns equals user email. We get error. Now the error says, let me find it, that this has to be array and we gave it strings. So apparently it doesn't understand that this is an array, but it does understand it here with fields. So, I tried to make it with different formatting and whatever I could find in CLI. It just doesn't work. It's not ready. So what can we do? Now we are complicating this, and it shouldn't be complicated, and we were supposed to send that 1 hour ago to client because it's a side work. It's just 5 minutes, right? Well, we can combine PHP because it's working. We saw it's working in PHP, and we can combine it with WP-CLI by doing touch get staff PHP, maybe to be consistent with WordPress naming. And we created a PHP file that is empty right now, and I'm going to open it with code. Right. So here, let me show you what you can do. This is just a, okay, that was not expected, but whatever. What we can do here for just starters, let's say hello PHP day and save it. And now, oh, right. Oh, thank you. Can I take you home to look at my code while I work? It would be so. So here we can say WP eval file get staff, and now we can actually execute just one thing in one file that we want to do, and hopefully you have a server where is allowed to create PHP file. Now let's go and do that. I'm gonna delete all that here, and I don't like this. And I like to type here the command just to be sure. Okay, so we saw that this code is working, and I want to just copy it because you already looked enough at me writing code. Okay, so these are the users, and what I want to do now is I want to use just a simple PHP to create CSV file, because that's what I wanted, just to export everything to CSV. So if I go here, PHP, write, no. There's no internet, okay, because I'm hotspotting. Come on. Okay, so we go here. Let's use what we have here. This looks right. Okay, yes, Andreas? Yeah, this looks right. So, yeah, there is a little piece up here we need to open. I don't like it. Come on. Let's try this one. Okay. All right. I hope I'm not going to open anything else. Okay, this is easier. So the first code here, first example works fine. I'm not going to do the file. I'm going to call it users. And I don't have to explain to you, the W means write. It will put pointer at the beginning of the file, so every time you run it, it will rewrite. If you want to append it, you put A, and otherwise read documentation. So the list. List will be the users, and fields doesn't make sense. Let's make it user. And this is so far so good. The problem is that here we are expecting array of arrays, and get users will return array of objects, and that can easily be overcome with just typecasting. And this should be fine. I don't know. We call this users CSV. Let me see if we have user, we have that file. So I'm gonna delete it to make sure that we actually create one. So now there is no users, right? And no, this is not that one here. So if we run it now, it happened, something happened. We don't know, but let's see. There is users CSV, and if we open it, yeah, we put those two, but I don't like the fact that I don't know what if it happened. With two users, it's fine to take a look and check, but with hundreds of users, I'm not gonna look there. So I want to make sure that I have some kind of feedback. And again, we need internet, so keep your fingers crossed. WP-CLI has a beautiful thing called internal API. And you can make things look exactly the same. So here we have output, and we have log, we have success, we have warnings, errors, so anything you want to cover with that to have a nice output and feedback you can use. I'm gonna use just log. Okay, let's not go there. I'm gonna try to open this one because we are gonna need it soon, and just use this one. Okay, so here I can say reading user. Actually, I wanted to make it like this. Reading user. This is still user. Display name. Should we make it like this to look better? Will it be better? I don't know. No. Okay. I probably didn't. Yeah, let's do it without it. So now you know how WordPress developers do that. Okay, right. So reading user, admin, reading user, author. And this is good, but maybe I also want to display the same table that I have with the WP-CLI. So hopefully this opened, yes. And I can format items any way I like. And I'm gonna, again, just, by the way, this is how I do development, just copy pasta from documentation. And let's see what we have here. Format, we want it to be, it can be table, JSON, CSV, so you can use that as well for CSV. I want table. And items are array of items to output. So again, we have a problem here because we have object, and now I have to convert this output. No, items. It's less writing. It's going to be an array, and then I'm gonna say items. And I could make it better and more performant, but you know, bear with me. And now we have items here and fields. Fields are actually these table headings. So it's an array of, you know, table headings. You can call them whatever you want, but I think that we should use here what we have, like fields and here. So I think we're ready now. Let's do it again. Okay, so this has been helpful, and once you write it, you know, you can keep it somewhere and repeat whenever you want. So what else you can do is actually do the same thing for importing. And I hope you realize that you can now create as unique query as you need, whatever you need. And usually I see people complaining like, how do I export WooCommerce product, but I don't want to export everything. I just want this. Well, this is how. And you can also create the same script to import all of that to other install. And so this is not, to be very clear, this is not how you do development. This is not to be used for a lot of things. But for this specific thing, I believe that writing something in my code base is redundant. I don't need this anywhere. It has nothing to do with project. I don't want to waste anyone's time to go through the code review and, you know, test and whatever you have in your workflow, and then wait for the next release to get it into production. This way I can put it there, run it, delete, nobody knows I did it. So when something, no, you have to be careful, not when something happened. Test it somewhere. You have other websites, you know, staging and local to test it, to develop it. But this way you can very quickly execute it in production and be done with that side task for 2 minutes. And so we can go through the actual creating script, but I don't think that's very beneficial. It's just repeating what we have here. What I want to show you, so in this internal APIs, you have a lot of other things. And you can actually run command in PHP. So what would that look like is, let me show you. Let's see if it's gonna open. Oh. Like, we can go here or wherever we want, and we can run any WP-CLI command without WP part. So maybe I want to see, you know, user list again, or maybe I want to deactivate some plugin and activate it after it, or maybe I want to do whatever I want to do. I'm gonna just use user list so you can see the two tables. And all the parameters you can put in here. So now, if we do this again, I'm going to use WP-CLI to run PHP file, which will run WP-CLI command. And I think that's beautiful. So I hope you will start using WordPress more. And I hope you will see the potential in this. This is just a little tiny thing that you can do, you know, even just for fun, but also it can help you a lot to make things faster. Combined with other CLI tools, you can, you know, do things in bulk in just a few minutes that would take you days or weeks to do differently. So I hope you will start using it if you're using WordPress, and you know, incorporate it in your everyday, because it's really magic. My name is Milana Cap. I'm WordPress engineer. I'm also the loudest member of WordPress documentation team, and classical musician. So if you want to talk about any of those things, you can find me here later, or just find me there, or oh, this is big. Okay, this is linked to joined. So if you like this talk, and more if you didn't like this talk, please leave your feedback there so we can improve WordPress, right, and make the world better. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, thank you. You're right, I always have to remember the crowd to rate the talks, because I haven't remembered for the previous talks, but you are still, they are still available. They are online, they are on JoinedIn, so if you want, go to JoinedIn and you can rate any talks that you saw today, including Milana's one. So, are there any questions for Milana? I don't see hands. Okay.
Okay.
Let's
So
see.
everything is clear.
Yeah, I think everything's clear. I have a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
What is the best way to start using CLI, the CLI, WordPress CLI?
WordPress, well, just start using it. People usually get scared, you know, to do something, but you can do a lot of things just to see what will return, and then start playing with actually doing things. But you know, trying to do everything at once is impossible. But starting with 1 or 2 commands, it's really just run command and see what's happened, and then add another command. And when you think of you have to do something, think, how would I do that with WP-CLI? So you will find another command, and you can do you can create bash scripts if you don't want to memorize anything, and that will really make your life easier, and everything will work much faster.
And how well do you need to know WP-CLI to start using it in production?
In production, well, you just have to know what's going to happen, if it's going to run and change something, or if it's going to run and return to you some info that you need. So it depends what you want to do with it. But with dangerous things, you have you know, flags, dry run, if you want to update core, but you're not sure it's going to return errors or something, you can just run dry run, and it will pretend to execute, but it will not. It will just return errors if there are any, and then you can see if you want to do it or not.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. So another round of applause for Milana.
Thank you.